This is the Kayman Type R electric bike, and there's really a lot to say about it. One of the first things is that it's very similar, if not the same, probably manufactured in the same area of China, I imagine, as the Extreme Li 350 lithium-ion, right? Which is sold on Amazon. Okay, these are super affordable, just sort of budget, get the job done electric bikes, again, being sold on Amazon. Kayman is actually going through a number of dealers in the US, and they've got a whole lineup, including a Type R Plus, and I'll try to explain the differences between the two bikes. Just in short, I'm going to hit some of the specs. This is a 21 speed, got 3 gears in the front, 3 chain rings right there with a really kind of a no-name like SR Sunrun 42T. I've never heard of Sunrun. And then Shimano TZ, and I've actually never seen that piece, but I am familiar with Tourney. It's kind of their entry level, gets the job done cassette. You might notice these little pegs with this like interesting Chinese characters on it, and I imagine those are for standing on, so 2 people could ride on this if you're trying to get around. But that's a lot of stress to put on a bike like this. It's actually a folding bike, so right here in the middle of the frame is kind of this pin that comes up, and the bike folds. I love that they've got bottle cages, which is nice. It kind of feels like they put everything on this bike, right? It has lights, but this light, the rear light, it's like it barely fits. This is the controller right here, all the wiring and stuff that communicates with the battery and with the hub motor. That's all in here tucked away. The light really doesn't have much room, and it's kind of blocked by the tire, even if it was facing us. There's a front light as well, which is actually what wasn't working on this model, so they took it off, but it would normally go right here, and it's got like 3 lights, and it has a built-in horn, which is actually inside the light as well, so you'd be able to activate those here, the horn and the lights right there. One of the things that when I first got on this bike, I was like, okay, cool, there's the horn and the light, and then there's this toggle switch with 3 toggles. Can't figure out what that does. It seems like it's supposed to be for like low, medium, and high pedal assist, but it all feels the same. Over here on the right, there's a green button, and it seems like that would be turning the throttle on and off, because this does have pedal assist, right? Here's the little disc. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magnet discs. So this is just very, very low end, get the job done, right? As cheaply as you can. A lot of new Pedal X sensors are like 12 magnets, so 5 is just basic. And it just means that the pedal has to be turning longer or stopped longer for the bike to respond and be like, oh, activate or deactivate the motor. So anyway, I was hoping like, oh, maybe this activates or deactivates pedal assist. It's actually cruise control. So as you get up to a speed that you like, press that button in and it maintains that. So just, took some screwing around, try to figure these things out. We got brake levers here. Again, very generic, kind of no name, but they do have motor cutoff, motor inhibitor there, which is important for pedal assist mode. Other things about this bike, right? We've got this fender here, sort of, it wouldn't really block a spray on your shoes or shins, but it's there. Really basic front suspension fork, no lockout adjust or rebound or anything like that. Just really basic, but it does smooth out the ride a little bit. Rear suspension, and this is just a bumper. I mean, very little travel, no adjustments whatsoever. I couldn't remember the exact weight, so I'm cutting this in later. This weighs about 45 pounds total with the batteries and everything on it. And the battery pack weighs about 5 pounds. So, yeah, you've got just everything going on, from the suspension to the extra lights and the fenders and all this stuff, but it's not especially powerful. The battery pack here is just 36 volt, 10 amp hour, very standard, and it weighs about 5.5 pounds. So you are getting a little bit of extra weight on your steering, which can kind of impact handling. And then just entry level, 250 watt, 8-fun, geared rear hub motor. And then maybe that's one of the possible differences between the Kayman Type R and the Extreme lithium-ion 350. Well, it has a 350 watt motor. So this gets us to some of the other differences I wanted to highlight between the Type R and the Type R Plus that Kayman offers. The Type R has 26-inch wheels. Okay, so that's, pretty traditional sizing, and, it's full size. This qualifies as like a full-size folding bike. The Type R Plus has 27.5 inch, so it's like a 650B. A little bit larger wheels are going to mean you're going to have some efficiency, higher attack angle, but it's not a huge difference. The big difference on the Type R Plus is that it has a 350 watt motor, so you get more power, but it's just the same 3610 battery pack. So they're very similar. They almost look identical, in fact, kind of looking from one to the next. And this bike, the Type R, it costs just under $1,000. It's like $995. So there really aren't a ton of options out there in this price range that fold, that full suspension. You've got pedal assist, you've got throttle, you've got lights. They're doing everything. They just don't do it very well. I mean, like you have to leave this key in when you're riding here, and you turn it. Now it's right there, kind of where your thighs are. I mean, it works out all right when there's just one key or whatever. But you can imagine if your keychain was hanging here, it'd be kind of a bummer. It just feels a little vulnerable to me. And even the folding mechanism on this, like the way it works is you sort of, flick this little plastic thing up, but it doesn't spring back. So if you forget to like push that down and you're pedaling, your pants could hit that, and then the bike could fold out from under you, which would be a real bummer. So I'm not trying to be a fearmonger or anything. I'm just saying, like, this is a cheaper bike, like in every way. I do like that it has disc brakes though. So I was talking about the, motor inhibitor levers earlier. Just real generic. Like I don't even see. It says 160, so I imagine they're 160 millimeter. It's great. At least it has disc brakes. We've got Schrader valve there, kickstand, and there's this extra bar here for if you're folding it and it's sitting down so you don't hit the teeth on your cassette. I'm gonna try to fold it real quick. Kind of get the idea. It's not as long. A little bit easier to store if you had an apartment or something, limited space, or maybe you're trying to get in the trunk of your car to transport across town and go for a bike ride. And the battery is actually pretty easy to take off. You just, 3 Velcro straps right here. And there's the pack inside. It's got a bunch of kind of like Chinese labeling on it. Here's the charging port, and then that's where you connect it. So it's just it's generic. It doesn't feel as purpose-built as a lot of electric bikes these days. And, that's why it's cheaper. That's why it costs less. The pedals also fold, but they're just basic plastic platform pedals. Okay, so let's hop on and I can give you some idea of what the motor sounds like and looks like when it's operating. One of the things I like is that it comes with an adjustable stem, so you can kind of raise or lower that to get a good fit dialed in. Looks like it's got some pretty extra thick spokes on the rear as well. Great, so I'm all set up. The key is in and it's set to on. This button, I don't know what it does, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna go ahead and throttle it. Oh boy. Forget that pedal assist kicks in as soon as you start pedaling. Let's see if I can. Really quiet, in part because it's just a really small, efficient motor. I'm not getting a ton of torque like if I had to climb a hill, but still getting some juice, and the handling feels all right. It's a little bit more sluggish, there's that added weight, but it does distribute it across the frame nicely. Keeps some of the weight up front, some of the weight towards the rear. So yeah, that's the Kayman Type R full-size folding electric bike. And they got the R Plus with the 350 watt motor, a little bit more money. It's also got the bigger wheels. These are 26 versus 27.5, so For the full write-up on this, along with specs and other Kayman reviews, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.